Our vision is to disciple the earth, one family at a time, teaching them God's true intention and purpose for family life, love, dating, and marriage.
Hey, hello, my people. Good to connect with you guys again. My name is Dr. Kingsley Okonkwo, and I have a special guest today, and we're looking at something very interesting. But before we start, as usual, hey, make sure you have liked, subscribed, shared, commented. We'd like to know how this is blessing you. So subscribing and liking goes a long way, in giving us some good feedback in terms of how many people are being blessed by these productions. All right, so today I have a special guest. He's a man with many caps, but is incredibly effective in spite of the few things that he does. So today we're going to be hearing the story of a phenomenal marriage coach, marriage counselor, but professionally he's also a legal practitioner. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Ocholi Okutepa. Am I pronouncing it right?
You got it. Ocholi Okutepa, yes.
Okutepa.
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So is there a difference between legal luminary and legal practitioner? What's the difference?
All those things are just semantics. It's like man of God, pastor, bishop, semantics.
All right, say, well, thank you for coming out.
Pleasure,
coming at the show.
Thank you, sir.
All right, today. So tell us a bit about the things you do first before we get into your story.
Okay, first of all, let me say big God bless you to Pastor K. Like, big God bless you. There are people who just blaze the trail, and so this is not patronizing because you're here. It's the truth. Thank you for, doing this and making sure that others can do it, because when someone does something, it's easier to believe it can be done. And it's something that maybe not a lot of people are saying, but it's something you represent in terms of family life in Nigeria, in Africa, in the world today. And we thank you for that.
Thank you.
So what do I do? All right, family life. Family life in terms of calling and passion, family life, counseling, teaching, holding conferences, which enables the teaching arm, responding to questions, and run some classes and all of that, just to make sure that from the single to the married, there's a package that supports, the system. Then professionally, I'm a lawyer, like you said, something I do with such joy because I think it helps me with a lot of perspective to life itself and even the family life practice. Then, of course, the foundation of all of this is that I'm a believer with a family that I love, one wife, and like I've been saying lately, one female wife. Because,
nowadays, you have to specific.
Exactly. So I say that my wife is a woman by creation, not operation. Yeah. So one female wife and 3 lovely children. Yeah. So basically, that's the life I have. That's the life I do.
Yeah, it's amazing, and you're one of the few juggling these things so well. Yes, professionally, you're a lawyer dealing with a lot of high-profile cases and all that, and somehow you manage to find time to, because I know how difficult and demanding anything that has to do with family life. Marriage counseling is all the most incredible jobs. You can sit down 4 hours, you've never even scratched the surface of the situation.
Exactly.
You can sit down 8 hours. That's why it even pays when people are reluctant to pay or whatever, a counselor or whatever. They just think this is a joke. They don't realize that you can stay 8 hours.
They think it's just advice.
Yes.
But that's time.
That's time. 8 hours, you see. And a lot of people that really treat us better are people that live abroad that work per hour. So they appreciate it more.
Exactly.
Africans generally have a hard time on. They think it's just this 2 minutes or 10 minutes talk they are paying me for.
Exactly.
But they don't realize that in developed countries where they know that people work per hour, they know what it means if I sit down for 4 hours. They have an idea.
In fact, that's so real because even when you approach it from ministry perspective and don't charge, you realize that some of these guys from out there, when they're done counseling, they request account number.
They always do.
Please,
they
I
always
want to say
do.
thank you.
I don't know why, but they just have a good idea.
Is that perspective?
Yes.
Is that thought that
I'm just taking 2 hours of your time?
Exactly. Exactly.
They always do, like you said. They always want to, even for my organization that runs professionally, because I have a large team of people that do work with us. Even when they are charged, they still request account number to be a blessing, to support. They have a good perspective.
Yeah, because the system also, especially like in America, regards tip. Because the organization may get paid or the system may get paid, but there's that extra layer of appreciation because they know you actually chose to do this. And like you would have noticed, there's no counseling that doesn't bring the counselor to a place where the counselor becomes personally invested to want your good.
Yes.
So that even crosses the line of time. Yes. Because this person is now giving their life and exactly. So that's part of what they're appreciating.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And I try to tell Africans that we're literally robbing ourselves. We think we are being cheap. We think we are being shrewd, or I'm trying to look for the words, trying to manage funds when we're trying to look for free counseling. But what we don't realize is that my passion, my dream, you mentioned it at the beginning, part of why I'm doing what I do is I want more people to be able to come into this field and do it as their only source of income. Yeah. The reason why we don't have many family life practitioners here that can do it full time is because it's not just paying enough.
That's true.
So most people are juggling it on that job. And the truth is, at the end of the day, it is the client that is being robbed. Yeah. Because if I have to go supply diesel before I come in for your session, and I was caught in traffic and my driver didn't park well, and one government parastatal came to clamp my car, and I'm stressed out, and I come into the session.
In fact, that's it, because again, the model that we run, we don't charge that way. Yeah. But the truth is, because I cannot give you that time, I have trusted people who take this as full practice that I refer to. Yes. Because it comes to certain points where I cannot deliver on what you want. Yes. Because you see, people come all the time, we run corporate classes, people come all the time wanting what they call one-on-one. And I'm like, I can't
give you that time.
Because, if I have to give that time, then I'll have to set up a kind of practice where you now have to reward for that time. Yes. Because, and of course, there's all the debate about whether or not. But I tell people, I'm a believer, but when I charge you for legal services, I'm charging you for work. Yes. So people actually have to realize, particularly for people who have set up their practice, and funny enough, there's no Christian in practice that I know that does not come through those several seasons where they actually put money aside and try to help you.
Oh, definitely.
All the time. Definitely. So, people still need to now put value, because again, let's even face it for what it is. Yes. Even your pastor, you can kill him by not giving.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
If you don't, Galatians 6 is very clear.
Yes.
The one that teaches you the word, share all good things. With him, yes. So whether it's coconut or apple or share all good things. Yes. Dollars. You can kill your pastor. Yes. It's so straightforward. You can kill him. Then
the truth is that even in a very great church, a church has 1,000 people. Even that pastor is not going to have time. To go through all the details of a proper counseling. He cannot. Except he's not going to be effective in teaching and preaching and other duties of a pastor.
So even if he tries to be effective,
he can't.
And some are not even trained for counseling.
Exactly.
So he can pastor effectively in other areas for counseling. Oh no.
It requires the amount of training we constantly do. Our job is a bit like the medical field. You have to continue reading, continue hearing statistics, learning things. So we are constantly learning. And I have someone like me, for instance, I have a large team of people. A lot of them are married with children. Some of them, this is what they do full time.
Wow.
So how on earth are we going to be, doing it for free? How this will pay their own bills? And the amazing thing is that most people that want free counseling, they have an event planner. They can pay for wedding planning. They can pay for marriage planning.
Exactly.
It's just a problem with our priority as Africans largely.
In fact, coincidentally, today, somebody reached out for our classes and got the condition. There are terms and conditions. Yes. There are 6 books you must get. Yes. And I mean, in very unkind words, this person, I don't even know if it's male or female, replied our message by saying, why must he or she get all the books? Yeah. So nicely, I was the one replying. I'm like, well, that's the condition. And it's the minimum. Yes. Like if you're not ready to do this, because part of what I had to reply is, don't you think your life
is worth? That's part of why we chat too. You must show that you are willing to invest in this process. A long process, long tedious process.
Of course.
I'm not going to start investing until I know you are willing. In fact, most times what we do when people even pay and start, there are many other times we do free sessions. But we have seen that, at least you have shown that you are willing to invest. Yes, we are good. Because we are not going to start, because a lot of people drag us into a process and you find out they are not
as committed as you.
You're wasting my time. Yes, you're wasting my precious time.
True.
I could have been counseling other people that need me. But you drag me into this and you are telling the kind of things I see in counseling.
In fact, one of the ways I trap people is assignments.
Yes, you must.
So people come back later with further questions, and my simple question is, I remember I gave you so and so assignment. Did you do it?
Yes.
It's amazing the percentage who do not.
Yes.
And that's sad.
You don't waste your time.
So, I take your life more serious than you take your life.
Yes.
No, I'm not going
to. And I can't even afford it. That's the truth. I can't even afford it.
Where's the time?
I have to, yes. We have so many other things pulling for that same attention that you want me to give you. You must show me that you are willing to also commit to this to the point of giving something for it. And I know that yes, we're ready. So talking about it, if the council has to go supply diesel, go run, do Uber, go do many other things, he's not even in the state of mind to give you good counsel. So at the end of the day, you are the one being robbed.
True.
It's like you lying down on a surgery table about to go through a major heart surgery or brain surgery, and you're waiting for the doctor, he's not around. So what's happening? Say he went to supply diesel, he's coming, and he runs in, smell of diesel, it stains on his shirt. So what happened? Say he went to supply diesel, there was a delay, he's coming, and let me just wash his hand and start the surgery. You're going to be wondering, is this guy going to be thinking of me or thinking of the diesel he went to supply or the gas he went to, So we need, my passion, my dream is that this field will be so celebrated, so rewarding, that even a child that is growing up in school can wake up and say, look, what do you want to be in future? And they say, I want to be a marriage coach or I want to be a marriage counselor. And we all know it will be sustainable enough for him to run his family. There was time that things like comedy and co was for dropouts, was for people who play football, was for people that were useless, you couldn't do any other thing with your life. But today, we see even graduates, professionals sending their kids, go to academy, go and play football. We see people now, if somebody tells you he's a comedian now, an MC now, you're not going to look down at him. If you hear how much he's going to charge for one, you know that you're not going to look down at him. It's not for fools.
Exactly.
So that's my dream and passion for this industry. That somebody can actually say, you know what, with all the professions I could have chosen, this is where I feel a calling or a passion to go into, and I'm going to do it as my job. And he goes from beginning, and all the courses and training he's doing from a young child is along this path, as opposed to, the usual, all of us must be engineer, doctor, lawyer, and those four things. But there are many other areas people are gifted and called. If I knew I was this gifted and called in this thing, there are a lot of things I wouldn't have wasted my time studying in school. Why am I learning how to label frog and label ear and all these things? Instead, I should have been studying marriages, studying relationships. I would have probably been a professor by now in that field.
But there was no incentive.
That's the point.
There was nothing.
People gravitate towards where there's incentive.
Exactly. There was no incentive.
Yes.
You couldn't. So imagine you went to Pastor M's family to marry, and they're like, "What do you do?"
Yes.
I can't sell people.
Yes, they don't like that.
Like, okay, like what's the work? Some people face it even as called pastors today.
Yes.
Of course. Like what do you do?
But that was in the past. In those days, if you say you were a pastor, people will literally be crying.
Speaking from Lagos, if you go to some places and introduce yourself as pastor, you marry their daughter. If you are not a GO,
or something,
or they cannot see the fruits.
They will doubt it, because in those early days too, it was really, really worse. If you said if you told your whole family that you were going to ministry, they will start crying because they've lost somebody. They will cry as if they lost somebody, because you are really gone. You're going to suffer. You're going to be liability. You're going to depend on people for the rest of your life. I remember when I was also called into ministry, I told my parents, they didn't think it was a great idea at all. But later on, when things began to show, before my dad passed, everywhere we went to introducing me that, don't you know Pastor Kingsley? He's not that introducing you proudly.
Wow.
So like you said, the fruits have to be there. But today, at least most people, if you say you're called now, at least people have an idea that there are so many positive and successful examples. That there will be some hope that if he does it well, he will strive in it. So I want marriage counseling, marriage coaching to be like that. especially in Nigeria and Africa. That's my passion. In developed countries, they already understand that. They are big names.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have so much of a problem. If an American say he wants to be married, a coach, anything coach,
Yes.
they don't have a problem. When I travel sometimes and I'm an immigration at the border, when they're about stamp in, when I say I'm a marriage coach or a coach, the guys understand. If I'm one of the guys that stamped me in recently, when I told him I was a coach and he saw the kind of visa I had, he said, you have this kind of visa in coaching? He said, are you like Dr. Phil or are you popular like Dr. Phil? Are you world renowned? I said, I just want to be humble, just I said something like that, but I don't want to be blowing my own trumpet. But he could appreciate that, a coach.
He could relate.
So he had references.
Yes.
He said, oh, Dr. Phil, and because there are a lot of successful people in that industry. So that's my passion. That a time will come, somebody will be in university and be like, what do you want to do with your life? He'll say, oh, I'm a marriage coach. He's filling the jam form and what do you want to do? This is what I want to do. That's my plan. So amazing stuff. So, but how on earth are you finding the time and the strength to you run conferences around the world? You've done South Africa, you've done America, UK, and all that. You travel around in spite of your work schedule to preach, speak, and coach in all these places. How on earth are you combining it?
Okay. I think first thing I would say is structure. And while you were speaking just a moment ago, that came to mind for me because now guys are actually getting confident to say they want to do this. So we are now going to deal with the problem of regulation. And that's where some of the thoughts and experience from people like you would come in. So one of the things I learned early with the process, knowing that I wasn't just going to drop my practice just soon, is to structure my life, A lot of people are not structured, and that's a problem. Because again, I didn't sense to leave all I was doing in terms of my practice just to get into this. Of course, it's getting more and more demanding as the day goes by, and you keep reviewing and prayerfully checking your heart. Should I actually continue that way? But one of the things I've had to do with structure is to set things in motion that can run without me. And that's a problem for a lot of people when they want to control the narrative, control everything. In fact, this morning, one of my key staff reached out like, is it the rain holding you from being in the office? And I'm like, I'm in Lagos. And he's like, oh. I'm like, yes, I'll be back tomorrow. All of that kind of stuff, because they are able to do what the system requires. So people don't set systems in place. Even for the coaching itself, because listening to you just a moment ago, you're talking about a large team. I know aspects of your ministry that are whole ministries, that are running, and you don't have to be the face, you don't have to be the one, but you set up that system, trusted people with it, raised people for it. Now, that's going to make you more effective than one person who wants to do it all. Even our trips, for example, are all structured to run that way. So you have people on ground in those locations making it happen. So we are dropping in. I've been to several of my meetings. I'm seeing the venue for the first time. In the meeting. And that's just it. Because if you don't enable people, people will not enable you. So I set up systems and structure, even for the posting. I heard this from you some time ago, and I'm like, thank God I'm not alone. I actually literally do my social media. So I don't need to go and now get a team, okay, help me post this morning that I was smiling. No, I can do that. And how do I do that? The same way I can wake up and say I have a prayer time is the same way I have a posting schedule. So I know what goes in every day, what it takes me to do. So sometimes I tell people, an average lawyer, no matter how busy, still has pockets of time. And I'm going to prove it. You see, every profession that they're accused of doing women, doing party and all of that, where they get the time from? They are getting the time from somewhere. Like I have colleagues who are into our association, for example. They are proper barmen. Like the NBA politics, they do it. Now, election is coming, for example. Some people have been on the campaign trail indirectly for almost 2 years. Now, directly. So that has consumed that person. So that's not the practice of law. That is not going to court. That is not sitting with clients. That's not. I have had to, in the spirit of this structure, do a meeting with international clients in Nigeria, take off to another country, fix the next meeting on arrival, finish that meeting, go and teach at my conference, do the next meeting on my return. I've had such schedule over and over. And I still deliver. Because what's important is I'm able to call on 2-3 lawyers, research in this area and send to me. I do my research, merge it with theirs, sit in a meeting for an hour, and I'm off. So if I look at my colleagues who are able to do every other thing that sometimes you're not even proud of, where did they find the time to do it?
Yes.
That means they're able to channel passion somewhere while doing profession. Because profession would always give you enough space for passion. Sure. And part of why I'm passionate about that is, if the only people who teach us how to be Christians are people on the pulpit, then the guys at their workplace will never be Christians. Yes. Because they would not have the time that a full-time pastor has to fast, pray, read his Bible. Yes. So they need a different kind of example that says, I am on the go fulfilling.
Yes, like you. I'm on the go like you, and I'm making it happen.
So bring structure to your life. Because an average believer today should be more productive than typing amen online. It's straightforward. Like, what's your contribution for the last 2 years to the kingdom? Amen.
Amen.
And I claim it. I mean, are we not tired of claiming? And that's why we're raising people who don't understand
don't
this.
understand
So structure yourself. Structure yourself and deliver. Yes. Because some people are sitting in their offices, they can put out one article a day.
Yes.
Just one. Yes. It doesn't have to be long.
Yes.
You know, so, I mean, all those pictures, fantastic pictures you're posting about yourself, why not write something useful on that?
Yes. Yes.
It's as simple as that. So it's maybe I feel it's too easy because I spent so much time doing it. Again, I do a lot of meetings at weekends. In fact, sometimes when people come in, I don't give a lot of people fiscal counseling. I sort it online. But when some people come in and they're like, "You're a lawyer?" I'm like, yes. Yes. I sit here more days than you know. No. Like on this seat, practicing from this seat. Yes. And they're surprised. I'm like, why are you surprised? Because, okay, besides the post you saw on Instagram, what was I doing in my life? Oh, I was just sleeping. Then I woke up and posted 3 times or 2 times a day. Then I have nothing else. No, come on. I'll be bored myself. Yes. There's a lot to do. And then, of course, structuring people into spaces, even our counseling is structured. So, because people want to talk to you all the time, but you can't talk to people all the time. So we have structure as to when and how. Yes. In fact, the how is a big deal in this world. Because somebody wants to leave you voice notes. For example, I bar voice notes. Because when you let people do voice notes to busy people like myself, you are just going to come and see 17 voice notes, none less than like 7 minutes, 10 minutes. I can't. That's 1 hour. Exactly. So I can't give you that time. If you really want to speak, then I'll give you a call appointment. And I'll let you know that a call appointment will take more time to reach out to me. But if you want to send me a message, and I advise you on how to structure it, yes. Because if it's not concise, you lose me. Yes. So for some people, they still choose that call option. You give them the call option, maybe 2-3 weeks, And funny enough, sometimes they start talking 5 minutes in. Like, what were you looking for time to talk for? You didn't need all this history. I've already picked what the matter is. So you also help people know how to approach you. Otherwise, your life is just going to be chaotic. You are going to take one call, 7 hours. You're not going to do that to me. Yes. Because there must be structure so that I can reach more people while doing the things I do. So structure.
Amazing. People are being robbed when they want those free things, those be available all the time. If they can work with the structure the person has, you'll find that it's generally more effective. Yes, sir. And all that. So tell us some of the countries or places you've held your meetings, some of the things you've done. Okay. So principally Nigeria, my Jerusalem. Yes. So we do city to city in Nigeria, principally again Abuja, where we hold our monthly meetings and teach and counsel. Then countries, US, we have had a meeting in the US, we have had meetings repeatedly in the UK, we have had meetings in Ghana, we've been to Ghana a couple of times. South Africa has been quite on the list for a while. I know you do a lot of stuff. South Africa has been on the list for a while. And so those just open up because we actually use the more global space. So we have been running classes online, premarital classes, School of Marriage, since 2020, consistently, like month to month. So that has generated people in those locations that follow and are glad to be part of the ministry and help us arrive in those places and reach more people. So that global space, we actually cherish it. I jokingly used to say that our own international headquarters is on the internet. Yes. Churches can have headquarters, but our own is in that place because that's where we're able to meet people without boundary. And it's also part of the challenge I give people, whether in the family life space or in whatever passion they have.
that everything is permitted to start local, but it has to go global.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it's to the ends of the earth we're giving the instruction. So that's actually the space we maximize first. Like there are even locations calling that we have not yet taken, because we are still using that space. So that's the most critical space for us. That's the most critical space for us.
That's beautiful. So tell us a bit about your story. You've shared with me a few times about how, where you came out from and how that. I want to hear a bit of the story and how you ended up doing family life. So start from the beginning.
Okay.